I'm from England. We don't even know that the Sun in England is a cheap tabloid newspaper.
Hey there, friends. Coming at you with another episode of the Pre-Ride Show brought to you by FSA. Get a chance to sit down for a few minutes with Jamie Bestwick. Jamie, what's going on, man? How you feeling?
Hot here in Emporia, Kansas.
the sun, as we've just been discussing, is rather oppressive today.
Yeah, I definitely, a young man asked if I was Australian. I said, no, I'm from England, but I feel like a shrimp on the barbie right now. It's this sun, while I'm not used to this amount of heat, it's so searing. So it's intense, but I wouldn't want to be anywhere else right now.
We're in the center of it, that's for sure.
Yep.
We're at the center of like the bicycling world, the skinny tire world, but that's not where you got your start with cycling. For those that might not know, what's your background on two wheels?
My background is BMX freestyle. So I grew up in England riding BMX bikes and racing the tracks, you know, just learning how to freestyle, learning how to ride the vert ramps, and from then I just moved on to bigger and better things, you know, coming to America, riding in the X Games, riding all the big competitions. And throughout that journey of BMX from the age of 10, you know, bikes have always followed me in some other shape too, you know, from mountain bikes to road bikes to now gravel bikes. You know, it's always been a tool that I've used outside of my BMX, not only to keep fit, but to just, I just think the experience on a bike is so much more different than in a car. However, I love driving cars. I love, you know, off-roading and doing that kind of stuff, but there's just something about the speed at which a bicycle can take you that gives you a much more bigger sense of appreciation for the world you live in.
The freedom, the movement. And...
Yeah, absolutely. You just get that opportunity to just go at a pace where you can stop and look around and be like, wow, I really do live in an awesome place.
You hit the X Games at kind of an apex of it when it was really popular. It was garnering a lot of attention, a lot of brands and sponsorship dollars being poured into that. What was that whole experience like, riding that explosion in that particular genre?
That was wild. The heydays of the X Games were incredible. Just the level of competition at that time was just mind-blowing. You know, and then you go to, you know, the X Games was always synonymous with LA. So it was always at the Staples Center. LA was action sports. You know, that's where all the brands were. That's where the fans were. It was just the place to be. And every summer, you know, the X Games would land there and the best athletes in the world would all show up and throw down. But the whole thing, the whole vibe, that whole era was amazing. You know, to be a part of something, you know, when it's on that upward curve, it was, yeah, it was a wild ride.
Do you still get the chance to take that bike out and jump it and hit the ramps and things like that? Or are we putting those days safely behind us?
No, you know, most days I'm down at Woodward Camp and I'm riding the vert ramp, riding the box jumps and, you know, having a good time there. In fact, the day I got my Pinarello, they sent me a complete bike. So my gravel bike had all my stuff on it. And they sent me this complete bike, and it was just, you know, it had alloy bars, alloy wheels, and I looked at it, and my wife's like, "Oh my God, like it's so nice. Do you like it?" And I just went, "I have to backflip that bike." She's like, "You just got it." I was like, I know, but I've got to backflip it. She's like, why? I'm like, because none of those parts on that bike belong to me. I didn't pay for any of them, so it's going upside down. So that weekend, I put some slicks on it, took it down to Woodward. I was there with my son, and he's like, are you really gonna flip this thing? I was like, yeah, absolutely. I waited too long. So within about 10 minutes, the whole process was done. We flipped it. The bike actually flipped easier than my BMX bike, which was absurd. I can remember being upside down going, wow, this thing really does flip nice. It would probably flip even better on a bigger jump. So we did it, we got it out of the way. But yeah, it was just one of those fun moments that I had a golden opportunity to kind of do another bucket list thing, backflipping a gravel bike. But yeah, BMX is always my number one. It's always my daily driver. And
is your son following in your footsteps at all? Does he like to jump stuff and jump off of stuff?
My son rides scooters, and he rides skateboards, he rides BMX, and the astonishing thing is the stuff he does is like beyond what I've been doing. Right. I look at him and I go, when did you learn that?
Right.
Oh, the other night I was out at the skate park and I was practicing and I learned this, and I'm like, wow, that's absolutely incredible. Like, how'd you come up with these things? And then I have to stop and go, Jamie, think about what you just said for a second. Like, action sports is all about creativity. Like, give him credit for being a creative kid. I should be like, dude, you're so creative, well done.
Yeah.
But it blows my mind that, that these kids come up with these wild new tricks, and they're just constantly pushing the sport and the boundaries of what's possible.
I remember the first time Pastrana did the backflip and the world went crazy. Now we're doing two, and it just seems like we're constantly pushing that envelope of human performance like that.
It's funny, the X Games was in Philadelphia, and I think in 2002 or 2001, when Metzger did the one backflip over the first jump to the second backflip over the second. That was like the holy grail right there. Everybody was like, oh my gosh, nobody's ever going to go any further than that. And then, of course, Travis gets the bit between his teeth and does the double backflip. And then Travis builds a place out in Maryland where people can try triple backflips. And then from there, it's just exploded. And,
really no limits, I'm afraid, this time. Any thought you had about what could happen has just been taken off the table.
Yeah, and why not?
Yeah.
That's why events like the X Games were built, so that, anyone who had that drive or had that vision to go beyond what's possible, they had a platform to do it on.
Yeah.
And I feel like, coming here into Emporia this week, it's really like being at one of the early X Games for me.
For sure.
Because, although it's a different world, it's so similar. You have the brands, you have the riders, you have the fans, and then, the beautiful part about this is, the guy who just got his gravel bike for the first time can be on the start lineup with the best guys
Top
in the world.
Tour pros,
And, there are very few sports, throughout the world that give that luxury to participants. It's not like you can go get on the court with LeBron, and line up with the
batting
Lakers.
practice at Dodger Stadium,
But cycling, I feel, has always been one of those areas where fans can have that real connectivity to their favorite pro riders, because at the end of the day, those pro riders, and the way that competition is going now, being more about inclusion, they're a part of that community, and they're a part of that block of riders that lines up, and they're waiting for that 6 a.m. bell to go, and then everybody's off. Yeah. Now, what happens after that? You can keep up with your favorite pro rider. I tip my hat to you.
Good on you.
But it's a beautiful thing to be here and just to see this and see the excitement.
The vibe and the people.
It is, and it's such a great vibe. I mean, we're riding bikes.
Yeah.
One of the most amazing inventions in history, and we're all here sharing that common bond. And we're all looking to challenge our goals this weekend. So
let's talk about that, the goals, the fitness. How are you feeling coming into this? You're going to be on that line with all the aforementioned World Tour pros. How are you feeling?
Oh, man, I had a crash last week.
Everything good? A little road rash we're still?
No, I didn't. No, I crashed the BMX.
Okay.
So I strained my left hamstring, so I've been kind of nursing that for a minute. But I've been doing great. I've really stayed on top of my fitness. I hired a coach because obviously with everything that happened, it was supposed to go last year. And I've had a coach for like a year and a half, and he's been helping me with some of these longer events. I feel really good. I've definitely seen my body change. Like, the bits that are broken on me are definitely more accentuated with a roadie type body versus like a BMX, built, bulky body. But no, yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah.
you're part of the Pinarello Scuderia program, which is here doing great things. How's that rolling out? What's that all about?
Here's a funny story about the Pinarello, and I told it these guys, and I'm pretty sure none of them believe me, but I was in Cedar City at the BWR last year, and I was just about to go and call it a night, and I got on my computer, checked some emails, and for some reason Facebook wouldn't let me on without my Gmail email account, and I use that as kind of a filter so everything goes there. So I randomly had to go into my Gmail there, and I get there, and there's a Saudi prince that has $30 million waiting for me in a trust fund account, and then there's somebody else trying to sell me hair products, and then there's this email from Pinarello, and I was like, Pinarello? I clicked on it, and it says, oh hey, blah blah blah, cha cha cha, and I was like, no way, that has to be spam. Like, why would Pinarello get in touch with me about riding one of their bikes? I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. I was like, but you know what? Out of intrigue, I'll answer them back, see what happens. And it was true. It turns out.
$30 million though? Was the $30 million part of that? A bike and $30 million?
Yeah, it was a bike and $30 million. And I have incentives. Win match. So if I get, 2,050th, I get $2,050.
Dig it.
I like that. But no, it was pretty awesome, and to be on the Scuderia Pinarello team, it's they've got such a heavy crew of riders. Yeah. I mean, Amity, she's the defending champion, like an absolute badass on a bike, and then you got Jess Serra. Jess Serra's no slouch either.
Yeah.
She's a super solid rider.
Yeah, a guy like Anthony who's doing fantastic things to grow the sport and build inclusion and
being mentored under Mari Holden too. She works out at Chula Vista with the USA cycling crew, and then Adam Roberge, the Canadian. I mean, that guy's an absolute powerhouse, and I think it's just when the gravel race clicks for Adam, I think people have got some competition at the sharp end. Yeah. So what an honor. I mean, I'm a BMX rider that loves riding road, loves riding mountain bike, loves riding gravel. And for someone of that magnitude to come to me and say, hey, do you want to be a part of something cool? I was like, well, yeah, of course I do. Yeah. I've spent my whole life attaching myself to things that are cool, just being around people that are really enthusiastic and that really want to see how far things can go and have fun and enjoyment in progressing the sports. And I just had another opportunity to keep the dream going, and here we are.
Right on.
Yeah.
Man, I know you're going to do really, really well. You got the support of a great group of people, and I know you certainly got the talent and the love to do it, and you bring a great energy and vibe to it. So, man, best of luck on Saturday. We'll be pulling for you for sure.
Yep. We had to laugh this morning. My buddy sent me something on Instagram, and it was elite riders to watch. And my name's in there. I was like, oh man, I'm right next to Ted King, and I was like, elite riders to watch, huh? I was like, probably elite riders to watch at mile 170, cramping up and trying to squeeze water out of a stone. I was like, but you know what? It's fun, and I think for me, the biggest goal for me here is to I want to be one of the guys that races the sun.
I think you're going to do well better than that, brother. You're going to do great.
If I set my sights for racing the sun, anything I do extra, it's all gravy.
Right on.
So
love it, man.
Yeah,
thanks for spending some time with us. Appreciate you.
I really appreciate it.
Jamie Bestwick joining us on this episode of the Pre-Ride Show presented by FSA. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe on the YouTube channel and click the little bell so you know to get notifications of all our new episodes that are going to be dropping over the course of the next couple days. Thanks for looking in. Cheers.
Cheers.